All right, well, why don't you tell me why you think he, this season, may not even be the guy who is the steward for this Cowboys offense?
Drum roll, please. I've been talking to Pete about this for 3 months. Listen to me, friends. I am not saying that I know for a fact Joe Milton is a better quarterback than Dak Prescott. I don't. He could suck. Like, he could. There's a reason that he's still a backup in the NFL, right? At the same time, when we talk about replacing a quarterback like Dak Prescott, what you want is potential. What you want is upside. Cooper Rush, God bless him, that's a top 3 or 4 backup quarterback in the NFL, but that's what he is. Joe Milton is too young. We don't know what he is. And here's what I like about Joe Milton. That dude can flick his wrist and throw that football 80 yards. Yes. The dude is physically freaky. Now, that doesn't mean anything. We've talked about Anthony Richardson and Carson Wentz being physically freaky, and they weren't long-term NFL starters. Anthony Richardson might be out of the league in 2 seasons. But the fact that you brought in Milton, you traded for him. You didn't just sign a guy off the street, right? You made a trade for him. I think that's a signal to maybe put something under Dak. And the bottom line is this, Pete. I think Milton is playing by week 8. I think he's playing by week 8. And it's either Dak can't stay healthy, which I don't wish for, but it's just very possible at this point in his career with his history. Or if the Cowboys are 2-6, which we've looked at that schedule, y'all. The Cowboys schedule is pretty brutal this season.
Well, and it's also it's conceivable they get off to a rough start.
If the Cowboys are 2-6, why not? Like, at what point do we move on from Dak? I think with Milton, if you traded for Milton, you have to play him this season, and here's why. Because he's either going to show you, oh, maybe this is the guy, or like Trey Lance before, he doesn't have it. Now we need to start doing draft prep. And which of these, this is the deepest quarterback class coming up in this next draft that we've had in a long time. We've talked ad nauseum about the Big 12 guys, but there's SEC guys, Big 10 guys that are going to play in the NFL. I mean, there could be 9-10 guys in this draft that get minutes in the NFL at quarterback.
Yeah.
So if you're the Cowboys, you need to find out this season what you have in Joe Milton and then draft a guy if it's not Joe Milton.
Yeah.
That's my perspective. I think Dak's got about 8 weeks to prove it.
Wow. So I like that, how you kind of put a time frame on it.
I'm giving him 8 weeks.
Well, I'm of the same school of thought. You and I talked before, and you were breaking my balls, but I was like, because prepping for these segments, you do research, right? And I was like, I just said to Scotty, I was like, Dak blows. I kind of said it like tongue in cheek.
It's funny because I've been saying that since we've been friends.
Well, and you came down on me, right? But I did push back with, look, dude, I understand the like why they made that deal. I mean, I do. Like, it's not like the most inconceivable thing in the world. You have statistically one of the better active quarterbacks in the NFL. I can understand.
Okay, but that's the thing I did when I was hosting the show for you that one time and compared him to Geno Smith. What does one of the better mean? Because I think statistically we've seen multiple sources that say he's mediocre. He's
you got to be realistic.
He's about 16th or 17th in the league.
You have to be realistic with your options, and I think they were. And I think that they felt like they were moving in the right direction with him, especially,
I could not disagree more. I'm going to tell you why. The two ways you win a Super Bowl in this era, and it's been this way for 20 years. It's not new. Either you pay a vet who's proven they can do it.
Yeah.
Mahomes, Brady, you pay what they want. They're going to win you a Super Bowl. Or you draft a rookie and you pay everybody else. That's how you get deep into the postseason. I think paying the 16th best quarterback in the NFL top tier money is the opposite of how you get to a Super Bowl in every way. And it's not just it was Dak. If it was Geno Smith, if it was Baker Mayfield, I love Baker Mayfield. I wouldn't want to give Baker Mayfield this contract. That's not how you win a Super Bowl.
Yeah. Well, and to your point, which I still disagree with, but to your point, here's where things get a little clumsy, because now you're drafting a guard in the first round and Jerry Jones says it's we're showing our commitment, right, to Dak and to this thing that we have invested in. And so
Well,
it's
you
like,
also have to figure out how to stop the Philadelphia Eagles. So.
yeah, you do, but I also have had a scout tell me a guard is a guard is a guard, right? Like you can find guards, okay?
The Zach Martin pick a decade ago would disagree with you, but I understand.
You know my point.
I understand the premise.
When you look at the overall percentage and success rate and really like
Yep.
what kind of value you get there.
Right.
So look, I disagree. I think the Cowboys made the right move re-signing him. Now, here's what you have to do. And I think the Cowboys have been bad at this. You now have got to do what you said. You thinks this is the NFL. This is the Cowboys. You haven't won a title in 29 years. This dude's on the clock, man.
I'm 32, y'all.
This dude's on the clock.
I just want to see it.
I mentioned Jaden Quaintance to mess with some of my Cowboys friends. I was calling an Arizona State game. I went to Sun Devil Stadium, and it was at that point I had a revelation that the last time the Cowboys won a Super Bowl, it was in a college football stadium. That stadium. They don't play Super Bowls in those stadiums anymore, dude. Like it's almost that's like the Stone Ages where they won. It's like the Steelers winning a Tulane Stadium, like in Super Bowl 8 or whatever that was. Like that's like a long time ago. So
again, I'm 32. Yeah. I have no conscious memory of the Cowboys. They technically won it in my lifetime, but I
do, and it was great. Like for Cowboys fans, it was horrible for me.
I believe it.
And to wrap this up, as we go to our first break here, I can tell you, subconsciously, the Cowboys, Netflix, Jerry Jones, they agree with you because that preview for the Cowboys documentary that comes out, I think, August 8th or August 18th, there was not one current Cowboy in there. Not even Dak Prescott.
Yeah, Calvin Watkins pointed that out, too.
In the trailer, yeah.
Yep.
So, like, Dak's on the clock, man. That's all I'm going to say. I agree with you. And so now, the best thing you can do is evaluate Dak and make a plan to move forward.
In investing, it's called stop loss.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
When you make an investment, you're watching that chart, you're watching how it's performing, and you need to know when you make the investment.
Yeah.
Here's when I'm taking profits, or here's how long I'm leaving something, or if that chart starts to plummet, here's where I'm pulling my money because I can't lose anymore. It's called stop loss, right?
Yes.
You have made a significant investment in Dak Prescott. Obviously financially, but also time.
Yeah.
It's been a decade. You have to have a stop loss. For me, it's week 8. If I'm on the staff, I'm saying by week 8, we're going to know.
Yeah.
And if we're 5-3 and he's won a couple big games, dude, let's run. Let's go.
Yeah.
But if we're 2-6, if we're 3-5 and he's not, because remember, we've said this before the injury last season, he was not playing well.
Yeah.
He was not. He was throwing a lot of picks and not a lot of touchdowns. If he's doing that again through 8 weeks, you have to almost just, it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt Jerry real bad because he's real loyal to his guys. That's why we brought no good Zeke Elliott back last year. Jerry loves his guys, but you got to move on. And that's why you traded for Joe. It's why you traded for Joe Milton.